What a wonderful day!
What a wonderful day!
What you're seeing here is guerrilla warfare. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes was just released and I had to go watch it. I've seen the older movies, I've seen the Tim Burton movie, and I've seen the 3 with my personal favorite, Caesar. To put this movie into context, it's basically a human story told by or through monkeys or apes. Now it's weird and I probably have to look up why this is, but why aren't the lesser apes like spider monkeys not seen in the movies? What happened to them? Are they still spider monkeys? Are they evolved? What's going on? If you have or find the answers, comment down below, please. I'd love to know what happened to lesser monkeys, and thank you, I appreciate it. There's about 300 years after the war between San Francisco ape colony and the Alpha Omega. There's also been several ape clans that have emerged into this new world that seem to be disconnected from each other, at least a couple generations. 1 or 2. I say this because it seems like Noah's clan had no real idea of any outside clans, or at least they didn't want to know. From the last movie, we see more humans falling and succumbing to an illness that leaves them in a feral state, unable to talk. This movie does kind of reinforce that, but we also see another branch of people that have survived, but we'll get into that in a second. Now, if you've ever played the game of telephone, it's very often that you'll find that the message from the first person to the last has changed a bit, if not entirely. And this is what feels like exactly what happens here in this movie. We see different ways that Caesar is remembered, worshipped, and his image and message is carried forward. In this movie, we really have 3 characters, which is Noah, Proximus Caesar, and May. I also really liked Raka, but the movie isn't just about him, so, I want to throw him in because he is a pretty cool orangutan. The screen does share time between each of these characters' interests, but it's obviously a movie focused on Noah. Each of these characters have their own goal and objective, which, as we see in the movie, might often collide and sometimes cause some issues and that have to be resolved. I will not ruin, hopefully, any part of this movie, but there are 2 parts that I want to talk about that I found super interesting. I'll leave them vague enough so it doesn't ruin it. The first one is the character Noah. He is the main character. He is an evolved ape. Now, the name didn't ring any bells for me initially, but when I do hear Noah, I do think of Noah's Ark. There is a moment where Noah is in the same situation as the biblical tales, where he has to bring his people out of a cataclysm. And I thought that was a badass way to show his commitment. This to me was interesting because it felt like this was a fresh start for the clan, for the tribe, for civilization. But unfortunately, we get that feeling of dread at the end that kind of leaves a little puzzle piece left of like, are you gonna be friends with me? Are you gonna betray me? It's just a little confusing in the way that that's exactly how humans are, and everyone has their own interests and their own wants. Now, if you ever heard or have read the Bible or even the 5 books of Moses, you would learn that God's covenant with Noah was a commitment to maintain relationship between the creator and the creation. We don't necessarily see that in this movie, but we do know that Caesar created or was the reason behind the apes evolving as fast as they did. And it's also interesting because the reason why Noah was chosen by God was because he was righteous. At the very beginning of the movie, we see ape Noah talking to his father, and his father says that he is true, which it's there, and I don't know what to do with that. The second topic I thought was really interesting was a moment when you get a sense of hope for humanity and then instantly question if you can actually trust anybody. To elaborate further without spoiling the entire movie, a lot of people have their own interests, and you kind of hope that we can work together, but it's not really there, and I think that's what showcases a lot of what's going on in the world right now. Overall, this movie was awesome. It was perfectly paced, CGI was pretty good, I didn't notice anything crazy, and the story was well put together. I feel like it served everyone pretty well and wrapped up all the characters nicely. I'm super excited to see where the next movie goes because there's going to be 2 more. For me, this movie was like Apes Found Religion, and I'm totally happy with that. In fact, there's a lot of really cool, interesting stories that can be told through the adaptations of Caesar's followers or evolved apes. Kingdom of the Planet of Apes, are you going to see it in theaters or are you going to wait for streaming services of some kind? I'm going to give this movie a 9 out of 10, and you should go watch it in the movie theaters because this one is over.